Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone, we are from group 6 and today we want to tell you our essay. The title is The Phonological Process in Early Language Development of American English Speaking Child Between 2 and 6 age. Before getting into the material, I will introduce my group member. It's Anissa Mutia Widyananda and I am Jessica Pratiwi, Serena Dinda Azahra and Muhammad Rizky Fauzi. And the next is, this is our essay and I don't think you can read it guys, but don't worry, we will explain the content in the next few slides. In general, our essay contains 5 paragraphs. There are first paragraph introduction, second to fourth in the body of the essay, which consists of 3 different but interrelated topic of discussion, and the last is conclusion. And in our essay is supported by several references so that our essay is more stronger and more trustworthy. And the material, let's start to introduction.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about introduction. So if you guys ever noticed a toddler mention wabbit rather than rabbit, you have seen the normal aspect of their basic phonological development. According to Rabke in 20 and 23 in Asia Special Interest Group, phonological processes refer to systematic changes in sound that reflect the children's underlying phonological representation. So to differentiate between speech sound abnormalities from normal developmental patterns, these processes might be evaluated. The phonological process between child and adult was different, guys, about the pronunciation, speech, and structure. Instead of directly following the adult pattern, the child usually uses their own phonology pattern. Like in the example, instead of saying, "Is that cat?" the child said, "Is that cat?" So the pronunciation of cat is different with the adult pronunciation, but the structure is still similar with adult versions. So even though in early childhood their speech development follows a complex pattern, the speech patterns are still predictable because they are made by simplification in pronunciation that are similar to adults. The simplifications are the result of what is known as phonological processes, such as stopping, fronting, cluster reductions, and final consonant deletion. Between the age of 2 until 6, this process is normal and expected. And as their phonological system develops, it will gradually disappear. In addition, a deep understanding of children's phonological processes could be helpful in distinguishing between speech disorders and normal development. Therefore, this paper will discuss primary phonological processes in early childhood speech development, along with their developmental patterns in relation to natural phonology theory and the function that phonological awareness plays in aiding their concentration.
At the early stage of speech development, young children often struggle to pronounce certain sounds clearly. To make speaking easier, they naturally use what we call phonological process, which are patterns of sound simplification. These processes are a normal part of learning to speak and help children approximate adult speech as their articulation skill mature. Some of the most common phonological processes, including like stopping, where a fricative sound like F is replaced with the stop sound like P. For example, the word fish might be pronounced this. And there is a fourth thing, which happens when he back sound like K or G are replaced by found sound like T or T, so like a car becomes star. And children may also simply consonant cluster through cluster reduction, such as saying spoon instead of spoon, or drop the final sound in a word. A process known as a final consonant deletion, like saying do instead of dog. And according to Rabke and Broseu 2023, the pronunciation differences reflect the child's internal phonological representation and are considered typical as long as they occur with expected age range. Meanwhile, Dude et al. 2023 emphasized that importance of identify both the type, consistency of pronunciation error to distinguish between normal speech delay and phonological disorder. By increasing phonological awareness, a children's ability to recognize and work with sound and providing enough language simulation, the process can fade more quickly. That's why it's important for teacher and parent to monitor a child's speech pattern to determine whether their development is on track or may require early intervention.
So for the next one, we are talking about the body in paragraph 2. Actually, in paragraph 2, we are talking about the learning phonological variation, where the children's phonological development is shaped by natural, particularly biases, which is stated by Zhu and Wallen in 2023, and also the simplification patterns, for example, like fronting and cluster reduction, are the result from motor and perceptual constraints. And also we are talking about the biological maturation, where the neurological and psychological development enables better motor control. And last, by the time children suppress simplification and align with adult phonological norm itself. Last but not least, that we are talking in body paragraph 2 is about the environmental influence, where the parent involvement plays a significant role in accelerating phonological development. And also a study by Cassidy et al. In 2023 that home-based sound awareness activity reduced simplification faster in preschoolers.
Now, in body paragraph 3, I want to explain the importance of phonological awareness in early language development. So, phonological awareness is basically the ability to recognize and work with sounds in spoken language, like identifying syllables or separating phonemes in words. This skill plays a key role in helping children eliminate common phonological processes such as fronting, stopping, and cluster reduction. These are normal in early speech, but children with higher phonological awareness tend to move past this process more quickly. Recent EEG studies, like one published in Brain Science, show that children with strong phonological awareness actually process speech sounds faster in the brain. This neurological efficiency helps reduce articulation errors over time. Longitudinal studies have also shown that phonological awareness in preschool can predict children's later skills in both pronunciation and spelling. In other words, the earlier a child becomes aware of individual sounds in language, the more accurate their speech and reading abilities will be in the future. That's why this skill is considered a foundation for both clear speech and early literacy development. Practically, we need to support this from an early age. Simple activities like rhyming games, sound segmentation tasks, and guided reading can really help. So, the role of parents and teachers, especially in preschool or PAUD settings, is crucial. By creating a sound-rich environment, we can support children's phonological growth early on, and that leads to better language and academic outcomes later. In conclusion, phonological processes like stopping, fronting, and cluster reduction are typical in children aged 2 until 6 as their speech system develop. Guided by natural phonology theory, these patterns reflect normal growth and gradually disappear with age. However, development speed can be influenced by environment activities and parental support. Phonological awareness is key to helping children overcome these patterns earlier by strengthening their sound recognition skills. Understanding this process helps educators and parents distinguish normal development from potential speech issues needing early intervention.